Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews. It's Gaming Friday. I'm Gary.
And I'm a casual observer.
And today we are taking a look at Silent Hill 2. Oh my god. This game is a treasure. An absolute treasure.
Yeah.
The pinnacle of survival horror games in the truest sense of the word horror. And I'm just going to apologise now that you might see some flickering on the screen and the actual aspect ratio might fluctuate slightly.
Okay.
So I'm just going to apologise for the video quality now. This is emulated from the original PlayStation 2.
So it's not one of the HD remakes or anything
I am not playing the HD remaster of Silent Hill 2. Now, I just sung the holy praises of the Resident Evil remaster.
Yeah.
Yet, Konami, who obviously developed the game and worked on by Team Silent, came out 24th of September 2001, and fuck Konami. And fuck Konami for many, many reasons. Team Silent made a masterful game with Silent Hill 2, originally for the PlayStation 2, although, as I said, the HD collection came out on the PS3 and the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And Konami fucked it. They went about it completely ass-ended. One of the biggest gripes was the fact that they recast all the voice actors.
Ooh.
And their reasoning for doing it was because they wanted high-fidelity audio recordings.
Okay.
When the real reason is that they were not going to pay the original voice actors to use their voices again. Even though some of those voice actors said, we'll come back and do our voices again.
Yeah.
And the thing that irks me is, well, I think in the HD Master there is the option now to play the game with the original voices or play with the new voices.
Right.
But the fact that they went and considered re-voicing it means that Konami didn't know what they were working on. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't realize how fucked up re-audioing the game would be, because when Team Silent cast the characters in this game, they didn't want celebrities. They didn't want recognizable faces and characters. They auditioned hundreds of people because they were looking for those faces and those voices of the characters that they'd written in the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case of, oh yeah, you can do this part and you can do this part. They looked for somebody who was real, a normal person, to help bring the horror to life when it's happening to this person. You're not familiar with his work.
Yeah.
You know, I think the guy who plays the main character of James Sunderland is actually a businessman. You know, so he's not a big voice actor or anything, but bringing in a real person, a normal person who doesn't do it professionally, adds to the character.
It makes it more relatable.
Absolutely, yes. And you know, and by and large, I have to say that this game's setup is one of the tropiest of all of them. You know, what is it? This character has amnesia. He doesn't remember what happened. And how many stinker horror movies have we seen that
amnesia?
in? Yes.
I thought he was coming back to Silent Hill to find his wife because his dead wife had written him a letter.
His wife died about 3 years ago, and then he got a letter from her saying that she's in their special place in Silent Hill. But he doesn't really remember what happened to his wife. He knows that she was ill.
Yeah. And that's one of the beautiful aspects of this game, is that partially the main character doesn't remember, but it's for you to uncover as the game goes along how he was with her.
Yes.
You know, and obviously the bigger choices that you make, or the different decisions that you make during the game, affect how your character comes out at the end.
Yeah. I used to remember that some people used to theorize that his wife's body was actually in the trunk of this car. Sadly, no, she's not.
Surprisingly, it does look a bit like the car from Evil Dead 2.
It does, yeah.
Caught me. This game, I remember getting this game, and after the success of Silent Hill 1, you know, of how brilliant I thought that was, Silent Hill 2 came out on the PlayStation 2, I was like, I need it. I need to own this game.
I got this game day one of release. I got the PlayStation 2 day one of release because I knew there were some games coming out exclusively for it that I just couldn't live without playing.
Yeah, and this,
especially after loving Silent Hill 1.
This game kind of blew me away, because where we've been used to Resident Evil continuing its story, Silent Hill 2 doesn't connect to Silent Hill 1.
Oh, it does.
Only through town alone.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the first game, they kind of they worked on the plot last.
Yeah.
And in this one, they built the plot first because they used the foundations of what they'd built in the first game's lore.
Yeah.
And how it impacts in this one.
But what I'm saying is like this main character, he's got no connection to Harry.
No.
You know, his this would be where we would start to understand a Silent Hill as everyone's personal hell, not just one person's.
Well, it's not so much. Well, I mean, it is kind of like their personal hell, and it's the spirit of the town.
Yeah.
It has the power to manifest parts of its victim's psyche.
Yeah.
And so obviously in the first game you were battling Cheryl's kind of nightmares, whereas in this one it's now personal to James's character. And throughout fighting the monsters and the environments that you're put into, it's another way of exploring the themes that this character has been through.
Oh, save point. I wonder what this was again. I thought it was an item. It's a fucking save point.
Yeah. It's like there's some monster down the well. No, it's just a big red flash and hit the save game. Now, I hate when I look down in the bottom corner and it reminds you that you're only playing on normal. And it also reminds you how many times you've saved it. And when you see it's on like its 20-second save, you're just like, oh my God, I'm not getting the good ending.
No.
I've already spent 8 hours and I've only just got to the hospital.
Yeah. Well, I would take in the same skills from Silent Hill 1 into this one. It was run up to every door, press X on it.
Yes.
If it's locked, it's marked on the map. If it unlocks, step back out the room and check the whole corridor. You know, you don't go anywhere just yet.
Yeah.
But it's just, psychologically, this game left an imprint on me.
Definitely. Now, I've said this about, all the Resident Evils. I played them multiple times until I S-ranked them.
Yeah.
Unlocked all the endings, unlocked all the infinite ammo guns and costumes, and then played it again just for kicks. Silent Hill 1, I did that with. I played it through until I got the alien abduction ending.
Yeah.
I had the laser ray, the katana sword, the power drill, all the good stuff. Silent Hill 2, I played and finished once, put it in its case, and never, ever played it again.
Yeah, me too. I was impacted by my first playthrough.
Yes.
And so I didn't want to go back and play it again after my first playthrough because I was still kind of traumatized by it.
For sure.
And then later on in time, I just didn't want to go back to it because it would have ruined my feelings towards Silent Hill and how good I felt the game was.
Yeah.
I felt that if I went back and played it again, I'd know where all the monsters are, how to do all the puzzles, and it would just become a quick play speed run. I am tempted to go back and play it again now because I have access to it. I'm scared.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just within moments of picking up the controller and listening to the music, listening to their voices, looking at the mist roll in on Silent Hill, the atmosphere is scary as hell.
Yeah.
And it's constant. The dread, the fear of what's lurking in that mist, the unknown, it's tangible. And the music, it scratches at your soul, and it just tells you that it makes you uneasy.
Yeah,
and and throughout the game's running time, it amps it up, and again, and again, and again, until you are at boiling point. You get seduced by this evil that is within this game. That you're also compelled to get to the end, so that it's over, so that the whole experience is over.
Yeah.
Now, I jotted down some of the themes that this game sort of includes.
Okay.
And then I realised that this was quite an extensive list. And it also, I'm just going to rattle some of these off to you.
Yeah.
You can just know then how dark this game is, as it has themes of morality, grief, abuse, sexual abuse, suicide, mental illness, death, trauma, rape, guilt, existentialism, incest, bullying, murder, loneliness, drug abuse, personal sexuality, self-hatred, pain, suffering. The list goes on, Ian.
Yeah.
I only just got started. I was just scratching the surface as the way that this game handles all of the subject matter.
Yeah. And while you were listening off that list, I was trying to think of all those moments happening into the game to the main character, and then I remember
it's not always this.
It's not him.
No,
there's other thing. Isn't this the? I'm trying to remember. Is there like a a kind of chunky boy in a meat locker.
Eddie. You're talking about Eddie. He calls himself a fat, disgusting piece of shit.
Yeah.
And his character killed a dog and then shot somebody else in the leg.
Yeah.
And then ran away, and the police tried to catch up with him, and he ran into Silent Hill, where when you find him, there's also a corpse hanging out of a fridge in the kitchen.
Yes.
And he talks about how he didn't do it, and he didn't do it, he didn't do it. Of course, Eddie's in his own nightmare, and, you know, from my understanding, he tried out for a football team or a sports team, and the coach said, "No, you're overweight. You're
Right.
not gonna fit in."
Yeah.
And I think it was the coach he might have shot, and the coach's dog, maybe, as in retaliation.
Yeah.
And when you meet Eddie, he seems, you know, he's definitely unhinged.
Yeah, you want
And-
to kind of take care of him, but then he turns evil towards the end.
Well, I mean, at the midpoint of the game, he sees James as another one of those people that's making fun of him.
Yeah.
And that's because, you know, when you play as James, all you're seeing really is James's manifestations, but occasionally you'll see the manifestations of those that you're in close proximity to. And I think, if I remember rightly, in that meat locker room, all the corpses in there are James.
Oh,
and
weird.
It is weird. And now there's also a little girl in the game called Laura. She's an 8-year-old orphan who was friends with Mary in the hospital, and obviously she doesn't like James very much. Throughout the exploration of the game, you'll find out why Laura doesn't like James very much, because of the unraveling as to what actually happened.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to talk about it, because I mean, this game goes on one of my highest recommendation lists.
Yeah.
One of the greatest video games ever. This is one of those games that went not just a video game, art. Pure
definitely.
art.
Yeah, I remember that as well. I'm just trying to remember, because
Do you remember the story?
I remember me finishing my playthrough of James.
Yeah.
And realizing that James was a bit of a dick.
Well, yes, kind of understandably so.
Maybe you could.
Okay, so I'm just gonna
go.
go and say in spoilers now, guys. If you've never played Silent Hill and you don't know the ending and you're interested in playing it, you just have to do it.
Yeah,
Whether
you
you
just
get
have
an
to go for
emulator,
it.
get a PlayStation, get the game. Don't do the HD collection, because it's still shit comparison. I'll go into more of that in a minute. But it turns out that over the 3 years, Mary and James were not having sex.
Right.
Although James was sexually active and wanting to have sex, his wife was too ill.
Yeah.
And needed constant treatment, medical attention, and it put a massive strain on the relationship.
Yeah.
And when James couldn't take it anymore, he suffocates his wife in bed.
See, now I remember him being a dick.
Yes, yes. I mean, you can look at patients that want to end their lives when they're suffering so badly that they can't take living anymore. But then in this case, it is the case of no, James. Yes, she was dying, and she was going to die, and she was in pain.
And you just wanted to have sex with her.
But yes, and so a lot of the monsters in this game, you'll notice, are very sexualized.
Sexualized, yes.
There is a creature, that's you can see its butt basically, and its arms are tied behind its back almost.
Yeah.
It's powerless to defend itself against a sexual predator in a way.
Yeah.
There's also like the mannequin. There's like 2 female mannequin ends tied at the torso.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much just the the female sexual reproductive area. Just that is the monster.
Same thing with the nurses as well.
The nurses as well. Yeah. And so it all plays in. All the manifestations are all coming from those layers.
So what I was saying is you cannot play this game in a way that James is actually a good guy at the end.
Not really. Well, because there's another character called Maria, who looks and sounds a lot like Mary, and the endings. One of the endings can be impacted by how much you choose to hang around Maria, whether you continue to talk to her or spend more time with her.
Yeah,
that tells the game that you're kind of forgetting about Mary, and now you're more interested in her.
Yeah.
And so it gets very deep. And throughout the game, there is a horrible creature who has become the icon for Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And that is the red triangle. Well, the red triangle thingy, I think James calls it.
Yeah,
and
Pyramid
then obviously
Head.
we know him as Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head.
And I was surprised when how small Pyramid is in this game compared to how large he appears in the later games, and especially in the film.
Well, he made such an impact in this one that
everyone remembered him as being a giant.
Everybody remembered him and decided to bring back. It's the first boss battle you come across with him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your first encounter, just like in the first game. This is where you first encounter the monsters.
Yeah.
And so now James is going to get a piece of wood, or is it a bar?
Yeah, it's a 2x4 with a nail in it, I think.
Yeah. And you'll get other
So
weapons.
here we go, yeah, here's the creatures. And obviously they all have kind of moans when they die. And even when they're lying dead on the floor, you can continue to smack them.
Do you get another radio in this one?
Yes, I just picked up the radio.
Ah, right.
That's what I was playing with as the monster came out of the shadows.
And you'll get other weapons as the game goes on. So you get
you'll get a knife, a pistol, a shotgun,
and little things like that. And then when you come across Pyramid Head in this tiny room,
just gotta figure out the controls here.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been started doing combat.
Gone into menu. That's the map, Gary. That's the
Yeah,
map.
I know.
I think you got to ready yourself.
Yeah, gotta ready and attack it.
yourself,
Or now
and
I'm
then-
just strafing around.
Right.
Right, here we go.
Spat in the face.
Spat in
Nice.
my face.
Keep whacking it.
Oh my god, this horrific sound effects.
What the hell is it? With Pyramid Head, you're in that tiny room. He's such a big boss with such a massive blade.
Yeah. But he's very slow.
He's very slow, and you can't dodge it. But the first time you saw it, the first time I saw it, it terrified me. I unloaded
That you were
all my ammo
frozen
into
in
it.
any way, yeah.
I unloaded all my ammo into it. I tried to attack it. I got killed, and I had to do it again. And I kept doing it until I think I ran out of ammo and just kept dodging him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just
Eventually just gets tired
the
and wanders
stairway
away.
goes off. It wouldn't be until somebody else tells me that they didn't bother to attack him.
Yeah. Just kept dodging
And
the
he
attacks.
still leaves, so you're just
Yeah.
like, shit, you know.
He shot off all those rounds.
All those rounds, I didn't even need to. And he's just this imprint. He's not even a final boss, is he?
No.
He just appears every now and again. He would appear.
He's basically the executioner, I think, and he is tied to James's guilt.
Yeah.
And that is what pisses me off with all the Silent Hill sequels that have Pyramid Head in it, because Pyramid Head has nothing to do with those games' protagonists.
No, they should have their own kind of
Yes, that's right.
executioner creature chasing them. I kind of like the fact that he was in the movies because, it was a Silent Hill add-on, especially for the first movie. If you're going from the first game, a big creature like Pyramid Head being in it makes a good impact for the movie. But then like you said, they keep replaying him in different.
He's just
Silent
totally
Hills.
misused. Yeah.
He's just misused. I loved this town.
Oh my god,
this game.
Yeah, it again, it feels a lot bigger than it really is.
Yes.
And that is again the feeling of loneliness and isolation.
Like these moments.
Hitting
Hitting the end of the road, you're just like, oh, I remember this. I can't go this way, but this will exit on the map
Now,
for me.
another important issue here with the mist and the fog is the fact that when you're running down the road, you can't see both sides of the street.
Yeah.
You can only hug one side to really see it. With the HD collection, the major factor with the Silent Hill game is getting the mist and fog right. The HD remake really screwed up the mist and fog, where it was like a wall of fog,
Yes.
like 10 feet in front of you that just kept moving with you.
Yeah.
Whereas the illusion is perfectly crafted here, that you forget that there is an actual system that's highlighting how much visible sort of space that you can see.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously it's to do with the actual limitations of the console's sort of draw distance and everything else.
But it worked.
Oh, it works
so well.
so well because, again, the monsters coming out of the mist,
Yes.
you can't see them until they're right on top of you in this game. In the HD collection, you can see them a mile away.
Yeah.
And it takes away the impact.
And it's a shame that, because I think just before, a few months before, Konami had released the Metal Gear Solid HD remake.
Right, yeah. And
Which was so brilliant.
But that was the same company that had made the HD collections for God of War and a couple of other games. And what they did was they took the retail versions of the game
Yeah.
and then reverse engineered it to make the HD collections.
Nice.
Team Silent, you know, obviously were not involved in the remaking of. I think it was a man named Tom Hewlett, who was basically responsible for the latter Silent Hill games as well, which, in a true Silent Hill fan's eyes, were the games that killed the franchise when it left Team Silent and went to American game companies that they just didn't know. They just didn't know what they were doing.
The argument is, Team Silent did Silent Hill 3?
Yes. They did. They worked on the first 4 Silent Hill games.
They did The Room as well.
They did The Room as well, but there was only like the music's composer and like 1 or 2 other original Team Silent members left at that point. Because a lot of them, once they'd worked on the game, moved on. A lot of them left Konami. Obviously, you know, the stories have been coming out the last 3 years about how a destructive, horrible, backwards-thinking company Konami really is. And it's just a shame that these people had to work under such conditions sometimes.
But the thing that gets me as well is Silent Hill 2, like I said, stands out because to me it's a standalone story.
Yes.
In the Silent Hill series. Silent Hill 4 as well
is another one that has a
standalone. With Silent Hill 1 and 2, I really like the first one, don't get me wrong, but the third one I never wanted to go back to do.
Well, here's my confession, is that I skipped 3. I played 1, loved it to death, played 2, scarred me forever.
Yeah.
Didn't do 3. Went on to the Xbox at that point, and then Silent Hill 4, The Room was out.
Yeah.
Played that one, played Homecoming, played Downpour, Shattered Memories, you know, all of the other ones, and then it was like, but I never played 3. So I got the HD collection to play 3. And that was, you know, and the reason why I don't rate Silent Hill 3 so well is because I played the fucking abomination, which was the HD remaster with the dubbed voices. They re-recorded and changed the music. They played music when it shouldn't be. They looped music when they shouldn't have. The sound effects of Heather's feet on the ground was so horribly loud. It was a nightmare. The fact that, you know, they changed it from its normal aspect ratio to make it HD.
Yeah.
And completely fucked it when they showed Harry's body at the beginning. Like in the original release, it's cropped. You only see it from his chin downwards. In the HD remake, you see it's Harry's face. He's the corpse sat in the chair, and it's like, oh fuck you. Like that, they just ruined it. And so because that was my experience of Silent Hill 3, it really ruined that game.
See, I didn't want to play Silent Hill 3, like I said, because of its connection to Silent Hill 1. I'd already done Silent Hill 1. Now I've gone through and played Silent Hill 2, which is a separate story.
Yeah.
Number 3, I wanted to be a separate story as well, but they connected it through the first game, and I thought, I don't want to really go back and be in that story all over again.
Yeah.
And then hearing about things just on the simple, I think it was on the PlayStation, not the PlayStation 2 it was released originally, but its original release didn't go down too well either, because games were looking better, where Silent Hill 3 had kind of taken a step back.
I don't think so. No, I mean, I've looked at footage of the original Silent Hill 3, and it's perfect. You know, it's perfect for its time. It's not aged at all. It's you know,
it's not as good as number 2.
Now, granted, obviously the textures are not super high res, but artistically, these games are perfect.
Yes, with the whole psychological element and the mystery,
with the storytelling and the gameplay that goes with it.
Yeah, we don't need HD. No,
it didn't need HDness. No, it really doesn't.
Funnily enough, this is my argument when it comes to when people talk about how good a game looks: 60 frames per second, fucking top end PCs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I played Silent Hill 2 on a PlayStation 2, running through misty streets as we did.
Yeah, on an old tube television.
On an old tube television. I did not need 60 frames per second or HD-ness.
No.
To impact
to feel
me.
That game.
Yeah, to impact me so much that Silent Hill cemented itself in my mind. As we said, they've tried to remake it. You could probably stick it on a PC, but the better you make the game look graphically, takes away the horror psychological aspect.
I know. I mean, so I know for you, Ian. So you still sometimes like to watch VHS tapes.
Oh yeah,
of
I
your
love
films.
my nostalgic
And it's
shit,
because
yeah.
of the film grain, the
Yeah,
tearing,
yeah.
the static lines coming up.
Yeah.
And compared to watching it on a Blu-ray, where you know everything is crystal clear, you can see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, if you can play this game, I would recommend getting it on PC. And basically, you can make the PC version of Silent Hill 2 look better than the HD collection version of Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
That's how piss poor that HD collection was.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself though.
Yes, you have to do it yourself, but it would probably be worth it if you do want... Every time I see that, it just makes me think of number
Silent
4.
Hill 4, yeah.
Yeah, even though, obviously, James has a thing for holes in this game as well, obviously, with his suppressed kind of feelings and urges.
It's an image now in my mind. What was in there though?
Yeah, well, obviously, the other character that we didn't mention was Angela, who we met at the cemetery.
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
she's supposed to be about 16 or 17, and she was sexually abused and raped by her father and possibly her brother, and she's come to Silent Hill.
Not the main character.
Not the main character. No. Obviously, they never met until this game. But she's in her own, she's seeing her own manifestations of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And sometimes, again, James and Angela's Silent Hill manifestations do merge. But obviously, we mentioned earlier, Laura, the 8-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She sees nothing. She sees Silent Hill as a deserted, normal, Midwestern American town kind of thing,
Wow.
She doesn't see any monsters. Nothing is derelict.
Because she's innocent.
She is purely innocent.
Yeah.
And I just think that's amazing because James is just like, why are you? There's not even a scratch on you, and she's just like, what? What are you talking about?
You're running around with a stick, beating the crap out of thin air.
Right. Yeah. So it's just that I just think that's great, and obviously, again, that got lost in the later Silent Hill games where it just didn't make sense. It was like an alternate dimension, or it was parallel worlds, and it's just like no, it absolutely categorically is not. And I also partially blame the film as well, which is why I also have grown to hate the film more, is because it confuses people as to what Team Silent crafted in the first few games.
Yeah, but at the same time, it does it better than some film series that we can say.
What? No, all it does is go, hey, this you remember from Silent Hill. Hey, this you remember from Silent Hill. We got the siren.
Yeah,
we got this monster. We got the nurses.
And if you're a fan of the game, you won't watch the film. You'll play the games instead. If you've never played the games, you've got a chance of watching the film and going, oh, I seem interested in it now. I find it very difficult to tell people nowadays to go back and play classics like this.
I have no problem telling anybody ever if they have the stomach for it and the time
you've got
to revisit this game.
Telling them it's the fact of trying to get them to play it because, like I said, they are so used to the top-notch shit nowadays.
Yeah. If I don't know, I can feel it in the wave, the aura of gamers, whether it's just me or the people I speak to online.
Yeah.
That video games that are coming out today cost you 60 quid to buy the basic version.
Yeah.
Then you need another 60 quid to buy the season pass, DLC, extra skins, and then you need another 100 quid to buy all the loot boxes and items that are in the game, and you're just watching this rack up and up and up, and then you've got microtransactions and micro DLC, and
that's more scarier than Silent Hill.
That honestly, yeah, it kind of is. Because it's costing so much to buy a game nowadays, and so
look at it.
Especially when there are decades of just truly astonishing games that were not made to sell billions of copies.
No,
they were made and put together for what they were. They knew who its audience was, and if you weren't part of its audience, that's fine.
Yeah.
But games are not made that way anymore. They're made in boardrooms. They have done surveys and tick boxes, and this game must have this.
Yeah. We don't want to sell violence to children. No, it's just like, well, you're losing something. This game wasn't about the violence.
Well, it's a part of it.
Yeah, it's a part of it. But when people argue that Silent Hill, the arguments used to come up about Silent Hill universe You know, with Silent Hill 2, like you said, all the themes in the game, it's all dark. Who's
Yeah.
going to enjoy this kind of thing? It's the cinematic appeal
As
to
well.
it.
Yeah.
You know, the escapism of you becoming this character and trying to find out what his history is.
Yeah.
And you don't care the way that the monsters look, or none of the doors open and the corridors are all long and dingy, and the violence kind of scares children. Well, children shouldn't be playing it.
Oh, no.
The
no.
themes
Well,
in this game are very adult based.
granted, we played this at a young age, and I didn't understand all of the themes.
But we've gone
and-
through so many more games before that. We'd gone through all 3 Resident Evils and
Yeah.
Silent Hill 1.
Yes.
We were prepared.
Yeah, we were prepared visually for things to jump out and scare you. Not really prepared for it to emotionally,
Scar you,
you. I mean, I literally use the word scar because this game is forever stuck with me.
Yes.
Whether it's the game's fantastic music, again, it plays on the fears and scares of traditional music, but it's all that industrial music. If I remember rightly, it's Henry is hours, Mildred was minutes,
yeah.
and the other one was seconds, and I need to go and find the clock key. Right.
The old school.
There's the word
puzzles.
scars. Will you
got-
push the clock? I don't think I can push it.
Love the puzzles.
Now, obviously at the beginning of the game, I had the difficulty levels. There was 4 difficulty levels: easy, normal, medium, and hard.
Yeah.
And 3 puzzle levels. But there is actually a secret 4th puzzle difficulty as well.
Really?
Yes. And again, obviously, I played the game on its easiest difficulty settings back when I had the game. Playing it now on normal, it's like I don't know how much difficulty it's going to change. I don't know how the puzzles actually change.
Yeah, we never
But
played it again.
that gives you that replayability. But even when I finished the game on easy, and I was just like, I'm never playing this again. Like, I'd be damned if I'm going to play this game on hard. Like, obviously did that with the later Silent Hills, but
I'd like to know if that actually does change puzzles. Does it move
it does
those,
change the puzzles.
Does move those clues and things
It
like
does.
that?
It either obscures parts of the puzzle, or the information's different, or the clues are not as forthcoming. So yeah, it's a nightmare. I just love the maps though, because if you were not drawing on the maps which doors were locked, which doors can be opened, I'd never get out of Silent Hill. I'd be checking every door again and again and again.
That's the first thing I do. As soon as I get into a place, I go along every single door in the corridors, get them all cut off, and then when a door opens,
make sure that you've checked everywhere for key items, plot items,
and then step through and deal with whatever situation happens in there, and then come out and know that I don't have to go.
It's so easy to get disorientated because the camera, it feels like it likes to do 360s around James. Sometimes it'll be behind you, then you'll watch it pan all the way out in front of you, and then you'll be running towards the screen. Then you'll go into a door facing one way and come out facing the other way. And you're like, did I need to go left or right? James is left or my right? And obviously with the tank controls, it can be a little bit finicky. But that for me, that feeling of disorientation, not knowing which way you were going and coming from, that's Silent Hill.
It's Silent Hill. It's like watching that monster then obviously just come out of the darkness.
Yes.
Instead of obviously the camera just focusing on it.
You can hear it. You can hear the noise it's making. The radio obviously going off. I also, I hated doing it in this game, but god damn it, you can turn your flashlight off.
Yes.
And you can stand perfectly still, and the monsters won't come after you.
Oh.
You can hide in the darkness.
Wow.
Comes especially useful against nurses, but then there are some monsters that will just gun for you anyway. There's also parts of this game where you have to escort Maria around with you.
Yeah. I remember walking her. That was annoying.
And there's also sequences in the game where you kind of just let down. It feels like a labyrinth when it's actually just a straight line, and the game is just shoehorning you where you actually need to be.
Is it this?
It's like the rowing sequence on the boat.
The rowing sequence,
and you're just rowing in the mist for what
amazing.
feels like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Until eventually you see the lighthouse in the distance, and
you
you're
just
like,
aim
I
for
was
that
going the
light.
right way. Thank God. I didn't want to have to make a turn left or right because I'd never get back on track.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember with this one. Is this the one with the really long stairway?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, it
God,
feels
the stairway.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
It just
and
keeps going. You keep
going.
hearing the conversation in the background.
Yes, the memories playing out as to what happened.
You're just feeling more and more uneasy as you get further and further down the stairs, and the conversation's getting worse. And I think with the first time I played it, the staircase went on for so long, I was getting annoyed
Yeah.
So I stopped.
Stopped and started to go back
and
up.
started to go back up, and then I'm like, and then the game must have obviously the loading features.
Yeah.
It won't move. Then you've got to keep going down.
going.
I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Turn around and keep going all the way back down.
Yeah, there was some instances in the game where obviously, yeah, you go for a certain door and it's not going to let you back, and it's like, but I didn't check that room. There could have been a file in there which would have shed some light on some things, or ammo, or the health drink that you desperately need. Obviously, like I said, with most survival horror games, running past enemies is the option.
Yes.
Again, I would say it is in this one, but I feel myself compelled to fight the monster sometimes because I have issues with the controls trying to run past them, or the fact that they can swing or spit the...
They've got quite a wide arc, yeah.
They do have a wide arc. And also when you kill enemies, they come back. Like, you'll kill everything in the corridor, go into a room, come out of the room, and they're back alive again.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was pointless me killing them, because now I have to kill them again.
You need an item to push that down, I think?
Yeah, I thought I could push it down with a stick, but
No,
I think I need to go and get...
easy.
I think I need to go and get some cans of something, or a brick, or something that's...
Something to drop it down.
Something
so
to
you
drop
can
it down.
then go
That's
down
like,
into
I
the
remember
basement
going out...
and
No,
get
it's not
it.
out the basement, it's out the front entrance, I think it was. And if I remember rightly, it's a bunch of coins I've got to get, which is another puzzle later on.
That was one thing that gets me with Silent Hill games, is just, personally, you would not do half this stuff in normal
key.
life. Yeah, there's a key behind
Well,
it.
no, I mean, what's she called? Angela warns James at the beginning that there are monsters and things in the town.
Yeah.
Or she says that it's dangerous, and James says, I don't care at this point if it's dangerous or not. I'm not leaving until I find the answers to what's happened with my wife.
Oh, is that it? Oh, no, it's the
That's
little
Laura,
girl,
the little girl, yeah.
Yeah, he's not leaving without his wife.
And so he doesn't care what's happening around him.
But-
If he dies, he doesn't care. He's here until he finds the answer.
But that's it. You're running up the stairs with that big piece of wood. I'd be tooling myself up with absolutely everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm finding pistol bullets and other things around, but I find it easier to smack them with the stick than to shoot some enemies, because you can keep shooting them, and you need to use up a whole clip and a half to kill a single monster.
Yes.
Only for it to be alive again the next time you enter this area. So it was just like, why use up my bullets? You know, I'm probably sitting on like 100 bullets by now.
Yeah.
I usually just save them for
Bosses. and
bosses.
things.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 I have always wanted to get the UFO ending for this one.
Yeah, I had to YouTube it many years afterwards to even realise that there was a UFO ending, and then looking up on like game facts.
Ooh,
Hey, the pistol.
A gun, yes.
To actually see what you have to do in order to get it, and you know, just the thought of replaying the game after completing it is so horrific. Like, I'm not going back there again. Like, I do not want to go through that dread, that fear, that feeling of complete isolation and the insanity of James Sunderland.
Yeah.
It's just like, no.
Told you, he's just a douche. He never made me enjoy playing as him.
Well, I mean, all the characters, I mean, from Silent Hill 2, 4, 5, 6, they are all douchebags. They were all killers, rapists, or murderers.
No, the fourth one's not.
What was his reason for being...
The fourth one,
Wasn't he a serial killer?
No, you could. I think you could. Decisions that you make become the bad guy.
Yeah.
But if you play the game in a particular way, you realise that a body has... somebody's been killed inside the apartment, and their body is within the wall.
Right.
And so they're trying to get you to go to Silent Hill to stop the killer.
Okay.
And the more decisions, I think, as you make, the way that you interact in the first person mode.
Was it Walter Sullivan? I'm trying to remember the name.
Yeah, something obscure.
Yeah.
But the apartment will turn more evil, and if you don't
yeah.
if you don't do anything with it, you become corrupted by it. But I always try to protect it because it does do you damage.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the game, you've saved the girl next door.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've gotten a relationship with her, and you've left your apartment, and everything's a hunky dory, and you're like, yes.
A hunky-dory ending
A
for Silent Hill.
hunky-dory ending for Silent Hill because I fucking worked for it, and
Yeah.
I saved everybody, and I'm happy. You don't get that in Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2,
no.
you're just like, you're always the dick.
But it's kind of about whether he forgives, you know, whether Mary forgives him, whether he forgives himself.
He murdered his wife over sexual
Yeah. Urges.
urges.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't make me want to. You just don't make me want to come
spend
back
time
and
with you.
play with you again. The game itself. If I could play as, was it Harry in the first one?
Yeah.
If I
Harry
could play
Mason.
as Harry in Silent Hill 2, that would probably be a lot easier for me.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I also really disliked Silent Hill 3 was because after having completed Silent Hill 1 so many times, spending days with Harry,
Yeah.
for him to be dead in the opening cut sequence of Silent Hill 3, it was just like,
Doesn't he survive in Revelations?
oh,
It's fucking.
I don't count Revelations as a...
No, it's not Aragorn. It's fucking Boromir.
Yeah.
Boromir survives.
Yeah. It's just... I mean, of all the actors, Sean Bean dies in everything.
Yeah.
Yet for him to survive 2 Silent Hills, that just tells you how wrong the Silent Hill films are, right? It just tells you.
It just tells you.
It
Yeah.
really does. God damn it. So yeah, there's one thing, I just want to mention his name, Akira Yamaoka.
Okay.
He was the musician for all the Silent Hill games.
Yes.
I think including the shit ones. But again, he worked on the music at home. He spent days working on individual melodies for the different characters. And he said that this was one of the first games where he really utilized silence, where silence was a key factor in creating the music. Well, he said for himself that silence is music
Yeah.
in Silent Hill. Just utilizing it right, because obviously when you have the dramatic, you know, if you're a Silent Hill fan, the music
Yes.
that's just, like a mechanical drum beating and,
Yeah.
industrial pipes bursting steam. It was, that's the music of Silent Hill. And it's just edgy. It's just horrific as well. There's no other music like it other than Silent Hill.
No.
There's
no.
nothing else like it.
It's part of the character of the game.
Yeah.
I like with these moments.
Holy shit, there he is.
There's the pyramid head.
And he's just standing there. He's just looking at me.
What,
I'm going to shoot him.
You can't shoot him.
I'm gonna shoot him anyway.
Don't shoot him. Oh. where's the bullet? Yeah, that's just
Just
gonna piss him
not
off.
even pissing him off.
That's gonna piss him off.
So it should also be worth mentioning some of the films, or some of the, at least, directors that inspired the game.
Yeah.
I realise there's a bunch of Davids.
All right.
David Cronenberg,
Oh yeah, obvious.
David Lynch,
Obvious.
David Fincher,
Yep.
Alfred Hitchcock,
Yeah.
Jacob's Ladder is like a key film
Yeah.
in looking at Silent Hill. But also it was interesting what games they looked at for in terms of level design. Tomb Raider was a big inspiration for this game,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
along with Alone in the Dark for its obvious gameplay and horror mechanics, and obviously the original Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And here is just another setup where you're seeing a corpse in front of the television, but you can't see the face. You don't know who it is.
You know who it is.
It is you. Yeah, it is the character of James sat in front of the TV, but it doesn't show you it. It just lets you...
It doesn't need to.
It doesn't need to, right? It doesn't need to.
You are in Silent Hill, so every dead body, there's a high chance that every dead body you come across, it's usually you.
Yeah.
Parts of you, parts of your soul are being left in certain levels, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
No.
The further and deeper you get into Silent Hill to understand your personal demons,
Yeah.
the darker it gets. And especially with Silent Hill 2, I'm watching it and I'm reliving all the memories, and there's a little voice inside of me right now going, you should really play this game again. And then there's this louder voice going, no!
Don't go to that special place. No, I think I'm feeling the horror and the dread of this game. I think when you go in and I'm sat here by myself and the lights go off, I'm going to sit and play this some more. I'm going to get back into it. I feel the need now that I've started to finish this and just see what ending I get and just go, yeah, that was Silent Hill 2 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the ending you get. You murdered your wife.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to have sex with her and she was dying.
I know what I'll do. I'll put my arm deep in this gaping hole that's dripping on the floor.
Dripping. Just why would you? No.
It's so fucking gross. Something bit me. The controller vibrated. I forget as well, again, the heartbeat vibrating when you're injured, and at sensitive moments when you're sticking your arm in gaping wall holes.
Yeah, and you gotta remember you can't run for that long because you start getting
out of breath.
You
He's just a normal person. Yeah.
So brilliant.
So yeah, highly recommended game. Purely a gem. The sheer craftsmanship in creating this game is still unparalleled in all the survival horror games that have come since, because they're either too actiony or the story is just not there. It's just not layered enough.
Yeah, and like we said, it's one of this game's saving graces that because your character by the end is a dark character.
Yeah.
Everything in it is just
so no chance of redemption for him.
Yeah, no chance of redemption. It's just really, really dark. And when you get at the end, everything you've gone through, all the characters you've interacted with, all of the puzzles, the monsters, the bosses, you'll be sat there and you'll just put it down and that'll be it.
Yeah.
You won't want to touch it again for another 10 years until you start to forget
yeah,
what his character is all about.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's going to be it from us here in Silent Hill. We'll be back next Friday looking at another video game. Of course, film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.
Take it easy.